The product transparency movement, finding out what's in our homes and buildings and what we can do about it. Do you know what chemicals are in the furniture in your house or the walls of your cubicle? Most of us probably have no idea what the stuff we buy is made of, except when it comes to food. Food manufacturers are required to be transparent, that is, to tell us exactly what's in the food we're buying. When you go to the grocery store, you can look at the nutrition label for a product and see at a glance what's in it, and a generic estimate of what that means through the daily values. You can look at 2 bags of chips and see which one has less fat or sodium, and you know that if the serving sizes are the same, you're making a reasonable comparison. If you're on a low-fat diet, you can choose the one with lower fat. If you have food allergies, you can check the ingredient list for whatever you're allergic to. It's pretty obvious how the food we eat affects our health, but it's not the only thing that does. We spend an average of 90% of our time indoors. So why can't we find out this sort of information about the building products that are going into our buildings? We wouldn't be looking for nutrition information, but we'd like to know if there's something in paint or carpeting or composite countertop material that might harm us or the environment or anyone else. It's easy to tell what's in your food, but it can be close to impossible to tell what's in your building materials. Trying to get information from manufacturers about their products can feel like trying to look through a brick wall. The move towards transparency is all about replacing that brick wall with a window into the product and its manufacturer, so you can see what's going on in there. But what do you want transparency about? It could be really close to a nutrition label. What's in the product and what you have to watch out for. Except here it's not fat. It's stuff that causes cancer and has other effects. Don't you want to know what might end up in the air you're breathing and that dust your kid is eating? The Environmental Product Declaration gives you clarity on environmental impacts over the life cycle of the product, that is, from extraction of raw materials through to disposal or recycling. That's really important too. Consider it a nutrition label that we read for the health of the planet. The EPD is based on life cycle analysis. That's the 100-page report, so believe me, the EPD, even if it's 20 pages long, is way more readable than what it comes from. What's cool about EPDs is that they make this kind of information comparable by requiring a formal structure that everyone agrees on for the product category, the PCR. There are international ISO rules defining how that gets written, so that if you compare the EPD for 2 carpets, it should be just like comparing the nutrition label on 2 bags of chips. It actually means something. Imagine if everyone measured fat on a nutrition label in different ways. You couldn't compare anything, which makes it not very useful. EPDs can make this a lot better, but since there's no one really in charge of policing it, like the FDA for nutrition labels, right now you still have to pay attention to whether folks are really playing by the same rules, but at least there are rules to play by. Okay, so again, EPDs give you the nutrition label for the environment, but what about the health information for me, where we started this conversation? EPDs don't do so well with toxicity, localized effects of manufacture, or social impacts. It's just not designed to. Health product declarations, a new product by the HPD Working Group, Healthy Building Network, and Building Green, are designed to provide another part of the puzzle, the ingredients and associated health hazards for a building product. Going further, you might want that window of transparency to look into the whole company. Is the company marketing a clean product while doing all sorts of other stuff that undermines any benefit? A clean product plus a dirty company does not equal sustainability. Corporate sustainability reporting comes in a lot of different forms, but it's aiming to provide transparency at the company level. Well, you say, that's all great, but I don't have time to think through all that when selecting products for a building project. I'm on a deadline. It's just too much. If you just want someone to give you the answer, this transparency movement may not be your thing. And there are a lot of certifications and rating systems out there that you can turn to provide you with a yes or no answer. But let's say you're designing a building for an environmental nonprofit that wants 0 embodied carbon. Or what if you're helping a homeowner redesign and renovate to get all potential asthmagens out of the house? For projects like that, you'll need more information than a certification can give you. The transparency movement is about making sure you can get the details when you want them. If enough people demand transparency and enough manufacturers provide it, environmental product declarations and health product declarations could someday be as commonplace and easy to compare as nutrition labels on 2 bags of chips. We just need to start asking for it and showing manufacturers that it affects what we buy. We've put together an in-depth report for Building Green members on how the transparency movement is transforming the design and construction industry. To get the full story, visit buildinggreen.com/transparency.